study 39 Effects of Conclusion. What do you need to do? In your concluding sentences, say something that is designed to move the audience to take action on what they have heard. Why is it important? What is said in the conclusion is often remembered the longest. It influences the effectiveness of the entire talk. You may have carefully researched and organized the material for the body of your talk. You may also have prepared an interest-arousing introduction. Still, one more thing is needed: an effective conclusion. Do not minimize its importance. What you say last is often remembered longest. If the conclusion is weak, even what went before it may lose much of its effectiveness. Consider the following. Toward the end of his life, Joshua gave a memorable discourse to the older men of the nation of Israel. After recounting Jehovah's dealings with Israel ever since the days of Abraham, did Joshua simply state the highlights in the form of a summary? No. Rather, with deep feeling he exhorted the people, fear Jehovah and serve him in faultlessness and in truth. Read for yourself Joshua's conclusion, recorded at Joshua 14:15. Another noteworthy talk, found at Acts 2:14-36, was given by the Apostle Peter to a crowd in Jerusalem at the festival of Pentecost 33 CE. First he explained that they were witnessing fulfillment of the prophecy of Joel regarding the pouring out of the Spirit of God. Next he showed how this was connected with messianic prophecies and the Psalms that foretold the resurrection of Jesus Christ and his exaltation to the right hand of God. Then, in his conclusion, Peter clearly stated the issue that everyone in his audience needed to face. He said, "Therefore let all the house of Israel know for a certainty that God made him both Lord and Christ, this Jesus whom you impaled." Those present asked, "Men, brothers, what shall we do?" Peter replied, "Repent, and let each one of you be baptized in the name of Jesus Christ." Acts 2:37-38. That day some 3,000 people in his audience, deeply moved by what they had heard, embraced the truth about Jesus Christ. Points to keep in mind. What you state in your conclusion should be directly related to the theme of your talk. It should follow as a logical conclusion to the main points you have developed. Although you may want to include some key words from your theme, direct restating of it is optional. Ordinarily, your purpose in speaking is to encourage others to take some action on the basis of the information you present. One of the main purposes of the conclusion is to show them what to do. When you selected your theme and main points, did you consider carefully why the material would be important to your audience and what your objective would be in delivering it? If so, you know the action that you would like them to take. Now you need to explain what that action is and perhaps how to go about it. In addition to showing your audience what to do, your conclusion should provide motivation. It ought to include sound reasons for acting and possibly benefits that can result from doing so. If the final sentence is carefully thought out and well phrased, it will reinforce the impact of your entire talk. Keep in mind that the talk is concluding. What you say should indicate that. Your pace should also be appropriate. Do not speak rapidly right up to the finish and then stop abruptly. On the other hand, do not let your voice simply fade. Your volume should be sufficient but not excessive. Your last few sentences should have a note of finality. Your delivery of them should convey earnestness and conviction. When preparing your delivery, do not fail to practice your conclusion. How long should the conclusion be? That is not something to be determined solely by the clock. The conclusion should not drag. The appropriateness of its length can be determined by its effect on the audience. A simple, direct, positive conclusion is always appreciated. A somewhat longer one that embodies a brief illustration can also be effective if it is carefully planned. Compare the brief conclusion to the entire book of Ecclesiastes, found at Ecclesiastes 12:13, 14, with that of the much shorter Sermon on the Mount, recorded at Matthew 7:24-27. In the field ministry, nowhere will you be confronted with the need for conclusions more often than in the field ministry. With preparation and loving interest in people, you can accomplish much good. The counsel set out on the preceding pages can be applied beneficially even when adapted to one-on-one conversation. A conversation may be very brief. The person may be busy. Your entire visit may last only a minute. If appropriate, you might say something like this: "I understand. But let me leave you with one encouraging thought. The Bible shows that our Creator has a wonderful purpose to make this earth a place where people can enjoy life forever. We can be in that paradise, but we need to learn God's requirements." Or you might simply offer to call back at a more convenient time. If the call is cut short because the householder is abrupt, even rude, much good can still be accomplished. Keep in mind the counsel found at Matthew 10:12-13 and Romans 12:17-18. Your mild response could possibly change his view of Jehovah's Witnesses. That would be a fine accomplishment. On the other hand, you may have had a satisfying conversation with the householder. Why not restate the main point that you want him to remember? Include motivation for him to do something about it. If you see the opportunity for further discussion at another time, give the person some reason to look forward to it. Ask a question, perhaps one discussed in Reasoning from the Scriptures or a publication designed for conducting home Bible studies. Keep in mind your goal, as set out by Jesus and recorded at Matthew 28:19-20. Are you concluding a home Bible study? Restating the theme will help the student to remember what was discussed. Use of review questions will help to impress key points on the student's mind, especially if the review is not rushed. A question regarding how the material studied might benefit the student or how he might share it with others could help him to think in terms of making practical use of what he has learned. Proverbs 4:7. Remember, your conclusion influences the effectiveness of your entire discussion. How to do it? Be sure that your conclusion is directly related to the thoughts you have already presented. Show the audience what to do about what they have heard. Motivate your hearers by what you say and how you say it. Exercise. Prepare 2 conclusions for the field ministry. 1. What to say when the householder is abrupt and there's little time to talk, and 2. A definite question for discussion on your next visit.